Hey, y'all, it's Letitia with Lighten Up with Letitia, and we're here for our weekly recap of The Family Business, Season 6, Episode 5, and this one is called A Ring on Your Finger and Blood on Your Hands. So we start off with Roman, who is sleeping on Aunt Coretta's couch, and when she comes in and asks why, he said he didn't feel like the Duncans were family, and that most of them didn't even want him there. Now, no, just Orlando, Roman. Anyway, he was angry about the fact that Orlando kept wanting him to take that DNA test. And Aunt Coretta kind of agrees. She's like, well, I mean, it certainly would clear up a lot of stuff. You should have just went ahead and took it. And while I agree, I also agree with Rama when he says, no, I wasn't about to give him the satisfaction. And I know that's right because the way Orlando did it was absolutely insane and super rude. Moving on. So she says, listen, she holds him. She tells him, listen, we love you. I love you. But what me and my sister did was wrong. And being a Duncan is your birthright. So go ahead and go back to your family. Give your siblings some time and give yourself some grace. And just then, as he is feeling sorry for himself, Rio calls him looking for him. And so he was like, I just can't take Orlando. And Rio was like, forget Orlando. I know he's our brother and everything, he said, but sometimes he can be an ass. So anyway, me and Paris are going to the Hamptons this weekend. You want to come? And Roman was like, well, I don't have a ride. He was like, don't worry about it. Pops gave me your keys and I'm coming to scoop you. Just drive me your location. So he is excited about his triplets outing, and Coretta is happy for him. So when Rio hangs up, he says, welcome to the family, bro. Now, meanwhile, Paris is drinking a mimosa on the yacht, watching, of course, Bobby the Beast Boy, who is frantically calling around and reporting Karen missing. Now, he is going crazy, and Darnell suggests that maybe she went back to that Britain dude. Remember, if you watch the Black Hamptons, which you should, and if you haven't, make sure you check them out on BET Plus as well, that Karen used to be with Martin Britton, but Carolyn Britton, his mama, was like, no, she's not of our ilk. And so he had to give her up, and then finally she decided to go ahead and be with Bobby. Anyway, he said, matter of fact, go ahead and ask the Brittons. Meanwhile, Karen is asleep on Paris's yacht. And when she wakes up looking for Bobby, Paris comes in and introduces herself. And Karen was like, we weren't bumping coochies, were we? Paris is like, girl, no. But you might have been bumping something if I didn't save you because you was toe up at the club last night. Now we sitting here like, girl, Paris, we know you did that, but okay, moving on. So Karen doesn't remember anything. She doesn't know what is going on. And she was like, I can't find my phone. Can you take me home? Sure. Where do you live? And so she admits that Bobby the Beast Boy is her fiance. So here's Paris acting shocked, like, oh my gosh, congratulations, girl. I'll take you home. A mess. Now, meanwhile, Vegas is still sitting at Kendra's house, sitting here contemplating this new info, him finding her police badge in the drawer when he was looking for a spatula. Now, Kendra comes in, kisses him, and she said, I smell espresso. You made that for me? She is dressed already, though, and ready to go somewhere very early in the morning. Now, she offered to spend the day with him after she got back, because she said it wasn't going to take very long. But he said, no, I think we should say goodbye here. Now she leaves and he goes to check that drawer again just to see if that badge was still there. And of course, baby, it was gone. Now Bobby is calling Sydney, Karen's sister, when she pulls up. He is so worried about her, starts hollering like, where have you been? And then Paris introduces herself and he is shooketh when Paris introduces herself. But he kept cool, told her to go ahead and go inside and relax. I'm going to talk to your friend, try to give her a little money or whatever, and I'll see you in a minute. Now, Karen goes in and he confronts Paris about playing a very dangerous game. So Paris retorts with, oh, you mean like the game you and Niles were playing with me? And he was like, I don't think this is going to end the way you want to. She was like, listen, In my head, all I was thinking was, I am Paris, M and F, and Duncan, okay? Anyway, she says, well, tell Karen I'll call her tomorrow since we're besties now and hope she feels better. Now, Kendra meets with that officer Thomas that we met last week, and it is revealed that they have a past. She wants to know what happened with that shooter the last time that she told him about. And he was like, you know what? Why me? Like, why are you asking me? I'm no longer your superior or your lover. So I'm like, girl, you sleeping with your boss? Now, she claimed to have no other choice but to have left the department, and he was like, well, I was falling in love with you, but that she was the worst thing that ever happened to him. But yet here he is again in her face. Now, he stated he almost lost his son messing with her. So now I'm like, we definitely need this backstory. We need to know what happened, where Kendra has been, what has been going on with her. Girl, what's the tea? Anyway, Thomas said that nothing was reported, like the whole incident at Big Mama's didn't even happen. He said he interviewed the servers and nobody knew anything, but she was adamant that it happened and she was there. Now, he was joking, acting like he didn't find anything, but the truth is he thought it was weird that nobody saw anything, so he went looking in the back and found blood splatter. And they conclude that basically, in order to have covered this up, this is definitely somebody who has some money. So she's convinced that it's them. Child, we don't know who them is, though. Like, them, girl, who is them? Tell us. This is part of the backstory we would really like to know. And I hope, Carl Weber, please tell us you're going to give us this backstory in this season so we'll know who Kendra really is and who she ain't. Okay. So, Thomas was like, you got to play this smart. You've got too many enemies. So let me handle it. And he makes a call on the way out. And I'm thinking, like, should we even trust Thomas? Because I don't know if I do. I don't know if Kendra does either. Anyway, then we see Nevada, who's getting out of the car looking all dapper and trying to look suave as some ladies approach. He opens the door for them. Now, he's a grown man now, y'all, but I just still see him as a young boy, even though I'm like, aw, he's growing up. But child, no. Anyway, he's well on his way to his first lady of the night or a married woman, because that's how the Duncan men do. Okay, so he actually meets up with his uncle Juan. Juan got his little red suit on, who confesses his love for his mom and asks for his blessing in asking for her hand in marriage. Now, of course, Nevada gives him the blessing and they hug, and then Consuela arrives looking all beautiful in her red as well. Now, she's wondering why Nevada is there when Juan waves over two men. One brought her favorite red roses, and the other one was a violinist. Child, he started playing the most beautiful glass violin I have ever seen. In fact, I'm not even sure if I've ever seen a glass violin, but it was gorgeous. Now, Juan gives one single rose to Consuela and proposes with a huge rock. Of course, she says, "Sí, mi amor." And they kiss, and Juan yells, "Drinks for everyone, child." Then, next, Vegas asks London to come and meet him for lunch, but he's in a complete daze when she arrives. Now, she guesses right away that this is about some woman, and he tries to deny it. But she was like, "You are not a good liar. Of all of our siblings, you're the straight up one, and so I could tell when you're lying." And then he admits it's about a woman. He starts to get all squirmy. And now it's so cute to see Vegas be this vulnerable, because we have always seen him be so stoic. But so she asked if he was going to be a dad again. He was like, hell no. Next time I have a child, I want it to be with my wife. She said, well, please don't tell me the woman is married. And he was like, my thing is, first of all, she knows her brother so well. But second of all, he was like, worse, she's a cop. And she is so shocked. Like, she tells him to stop talking to her immediately. That is not, getting involved with cops or law enforcement is not good for him or the family. So, but he confessed that he might love her. I'm like, sir, you don't even know her. And anyway, So she asked if she was worth the risk. And Vegas was like, maybe. Child. Now, meanwhile, the table is asking for updates on this truck, where it's revealed and they found out that the warehouse where they found the truck was actually owned by one of the Dash subsidiaries. And KD was like, listen, we've known for a week who done it. We need to know what we gonna do about it. And so the solution is that somebody, Uncle LC Duncan, he needs to talk to his son. Juan directly asked LC if he actually talked to Junior man to man. And he was like, no, I haven't. He said, and I'm afraid that if I do, I'm going to say something that's going to make the matters worse. But they said, you need to talk to your son. And he finally agrees to do that. Now, we're at the wedding, which is why we're dressed today. Vegas and Nevada arrive, and Kendra is calling Vegas, and he is ignoring it. Now, Nevada was like, I'm surprised you even came. And I'm thinking, like, he ain't thinking about no Consuela, and Consuela is not thinking about him. So he's just there to support his son. And so, but he did say he has business after the ceremony, so he's not going to be at, at the, I was about to say repast, child. He's not going to be at the reception. So then we see Detroit Red is working the crowd. We see the Duncans are looking all suave and beautiful. Uncle Elsie has his black suit on. Aunt Chippy has on her gold sequence, which is why we're wearing gold today. And Uncle Elsie is the best man, and he is up there trying to calm Juan's nerves. Now we get a short scene where Sonia and Junior are talking baby names, and they are just so unoriginal. She told me something. What about if we named her Sonia Junior? Get it? Sonia Junior? He was like, no. What about Mary? Mary? What about Mary Jane? All of the names were a mess. They need to do better about, look at a book or something. Go look up some meanings or something, because absolutely not. Anyway, there's a knock at the door, and Detective Bryant is there to arrest Junior. Now, Sonia tries to protest, but he threatened to put her in cuffs too. So he told her, just call the attorney, and so Bryant cuffed him and his bodyguards and threw Junior in the back of his cruiser. Now, Consuela and Nevada have a really touching scene, mother-son moment, where she's preparing to walk down the aisle, and he confirms that he's really happy for her and Juan, and that she's honored that he's there and that he'll be walking her down the aisle. So the next thing you know, we actually see them walking down the aisle, and she's looking so beautiful coming down the aisle. They have a beautiful love-filled ceremony. Juan has his gold suit on, looking very dapper. They're full of friends and family. Senor Cruz is beaming at his sister and looking all dapper in his black and gold as well. And Juan announces that they had a photo shoot at the park, but that they would have a wonderful reception at the Hellfire Club with plenty of tequila. Everybody cheers. And then LC tells Aunt Chippy that he will meet her at the reception because he has some business to take care of. Now, Junior is in the back of Detective Bryant's cruiser, and he knows that this is a bogus arrest and that this is basically a call from his father because Detective Bryant is in LC Duncan's pocket. Now, he confronts Bryant saying he's cuffed in the back of a car and 2 bullets to the head. He's like, my old man ain't ish. And Bryant says that if your daddy wanted you gone, baby, I wouldn't have even knocked on the door. So Junior cusses him out, and Bryant was like, oh, do you talk to your new mother with that mouth? And then proceeded to say that if Donna was there, he'd have had a pleasure cuffing her too. Not Detective Bryant talking ish. I mean, he was talking mad ish. And don't let it, come on. We did not forget that you had a crush on Donna. So don't be doing all of that. But that's probably why he wanted to handcuff her. Quiet as kept. Anyway, moving on. He takes Junior to the pier where Uncle LC is waiting for him. They have words, and he was like, you could have just called. He was like, well, would you have answered? Probably not. Okay, then. So he said, plus, Uncle LC is saying, plus, after Brother Minister and the attempt on your brother, I don't even trust you right now. So Junior comes with the excuses, but he was like, spare me. And reminds him that he, Junior, is the head of the Alliance, and that the Alliance is the one that did all these things. So he was like, he said, you are not the son that I thought you were. And you can tell that Junior is really hurt by that. And he asked him, he said, okay, well, what you gonna do? Are you gonna unalive me? And Uncle LC said, I came here to talk, to get on some kind of solid ground before any more good people get unalived. So they finally have a real conversation and they begin to deliberate. Now, Juan and Consuela are finishing up their photo shoot, child, when a vehicle pulls up and starts spraying bullets, child. We see Aries Cora, who is hanging out the car, shooting. He spits at them, and then the truck speeds off, child, leaving Juan a bloody mess, and Consuela is crying hysterically to the point where Ramon had to pull her away, and Nevada is trying to help Juan. Child, no, Lord, Juanito. Oh my gosh. Oh. Child, I had to get myself together. Kendra, at this really weird angle, gets a call and immediately gets up to go. Child, Vegas is back in her bed, we see. And he questions her because she claimed that she was off and she wanted to spend the day with him. You know, they were supposed to just spend it in bed. And she claimed that she was on call. And when he asked her what she did for a living, why did she just say that she worked for the city? Girl. And on her way out, Vegas gets a shocking text. Now, back at the pier, it looks like Uncle LC and Junior have called a truce. They have decided that the table and the alliance will form a partnership, and based on a new product that Orlando has, they are poised to be billionaires. Now I'm like, aren't y'all already billionaires? But anyway, like you said, they are in the money-making business. Now it's too bad that Junior is so clueless of his crew, because they do not feel the same way. They are out for revenge. Now, just when we thought that the peace was back, child, Uncle LC gets a call from Nevada that Juan is dead. Child, the way he goes off on Junior, yells that Juan's blood is on Junior's hands. What have you done? The alliance unalived him. You know, he was like, no, it wasn't us. It wasn't me. It wasn't us. And he was like, hell, yes, it was you. Rocco and Aries were the shooters. So you can't deny having to do with it. This is the alliance. This is y'all. He smacked him up, yoked him up, threatened to unalive him, and said, F you. I mean, child, it was so emotional. He even went to the point that he said, the next time I see you, I might just unalive you myself. You know, Juan is like a brother to him. So you could tell Uncle LC is hurt behind the situation. I mean, he was up in arms. That's when we saw him in that preview where he was yoking him up. Seeing the full scene, though, is so emotional. And I'm just like, Lord, Junior, what have you done? I don't know if they'll be able to come back from this. Whew. Child, you tell me what you think. And don't forget to join us every Sunday night as we do the live panel with the crew so we can talk about the new episode. And don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, ciao. Holla.